Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a break with Mr. Stephen Shamus.
Good to see you, my friend. What kind of shirt you got on today?
This is my only Daredevil shirt. I'm a really good lawyer.
Really good lawyer. That's funny. Where'd you get that one?
San Diego last year, I believe. Marvel booth.
So you didn't get any of the good exclusives that are worth a ton of money, but you did
Correct.
Get the T-shirt.
I did get some exclusives that are worth a ton of money, but you have to wait until a mid show break.
Oh, all right. What do we got today, Alex?
Yeah, we're gonna some random stuff. We're in random mode. We're gonna talk a little Space Ghost. Love a good Space Ghost. We're going to talk about World of Wood, Wally Wood comic. Deadpool Fights. Which is not a new miniseries the Marvel's put out, but they probably should. And then Starman, one of my favorite characters from DC.
Yeah, a bit of an eclectic mix.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Yeah,
we're starting to see some upticks on some of this stuff. So it's interesting. You'll have to kind of fill us in on what some of these are. Okay, yeah. So what are we starting with today, Alex?
Space Ghost from
I
say Comico, but a lot of people say Kamiko. I don't know which one it is.
Comico, Potato.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually remember these books coming out from Kamiko back in 1987. They were very, very popular. I don't think they were printed in short supply.
Not at all.
The character definitely has a long shelf life. So they've definitely picked up. I just think it's a nostalgia play right now because so many things are getting made into TVs and movies. Give us a little background on Space Ghost. I remember there was a cartoon, right? There was other
so there's many cartoons. Yeah. So Space Ghost is a Hanna-Barbera cartoon about a man who dies and comes back as a superhero in space. And he wasn't. I don't think he was one of the bigger Hanna-Barbera creations. Like he was popular, but not that popular. But he became really popular when Cartoon Network launched. They had the kind of library of Hanna-Barbera, and they did a lot of stuff. You know, it was all owned by the same company, Turner Media, and they made a late night talk show, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which was like the first kind of thing like Adult Swim ever did. It was like the birth of Adult Swim, and it was completely ridiculous and zany, and kind of birthed that kind of like old cartoon reimagination type deal. And it's a talk show. So it was like Seth Green was on it in the early days. There's bands on it, Weird Al, and he was always making fun of it. And it's funny if you've seen Space Ghost, it's hilarious. But I think that kind of solidified it as like your dad's cartoon, and then your cartoon, because it came back in the public consciousness. And then when this Kamiko book came out, it wasn't. Coast to Coast wasn't out yet. That didn't come until like the late 90s, early 2000s, or mid 90s. But I mean, it's got everybody in it. It's Steve Rude, Alex Toth, who I believe was the designer for the character for Hanna-Barbera. So big names here, especially the Steve Rude cover. It's beautiful. And it's a hardbound, square bound book. Just people know who Space Ghost is.
I also get the feeling that had Hanna and Barbera lived longer, like a Stan Lee, they would have, their characters, and they would have been held in a different light, in terms of social media and totally. How people are sort of remembering them. Everybody remembers Stan Lee, but Hanna-Barbera, my goodness. And interestingly enough, there was a cartoon that came out in 2018, Wacky Races. I do remember the races when I was a kid. I do remember those wacky races.
Re-up,
And then in 2022, there was an animated comedy show on HBO Max called Jellystone.
I watched that. Yeah,
which funny. Also had Space Ghost on there too. So maybe that's had a little bit of the revival. There are some Golden Age versions, but this is the modern era version.
Yeah.
Just an interesting, like they always seem to be bringing this stuff back. I remember the races when I was a kid. That's
Wacky Races was great. Laugh Olympics was another good one. That was a favorite
my God. Alex,
had everybody in it. Everybody.
Those are great.
I think Hanna-Barbera was the first one to do a continuity TV show with all their characters from all their cartoons.
That's right. I remember those. Okay. Space Ghost #1, Kamiko, December of 87. There's 69 9.8. Just recently sold for $335. Pinups by Alex Toth, Mark Evanier, and Steve Rude story. Steve Rude cover and art. All right. What's next, Alex?
World of Wood.
Yeah, I don't know what this is, but these prices have been scooting up lately, and they're very, very hard to find, these books. They've been selling for very strong numbers. Mike Zeck covers, Wally Wood cover and art. What is this?
These are reprints of quote unquote hard to find Wally Wood comics from like creepy and eerie, recompiled, re-put together in that comic book form, and they're put out for as reprints. Usually reprints do not garner money, but I think a lot of these have to do with, first of all, you have some Dave Stevens covers. That's going to sell right off the bat. Doesn't matter what it is. It's Dave Stevens on the cover. And then it's Wally Wood art. And the, the front and backs of those have some art and pictures. And people are big Wally Wood fans. I mean, that's one of those. And a lot of these books had like his pinups from zines that were never reprinted. So, I mean, yeah. And the pop is just extremely small. I think these are just Wally Wood fans. And when you see the pop report on these books, you know why they're going so high, especially for Dave Stevens covers. Hard to find.
Yeah. So World of Wood '1, May of 1986. There's only 13 9.8s. It's about a $250+ book. In 9.6.
Yeah.
In 9.6, $250. They're $60 raw. They're really, really hard to find.
Yeah.
Wally Wood photo back cover. There's a photo by Mike Zeck, Dave Stevens cover. World of Wood #2, also May of 86. There's only 18 9.8s. That's about a $265 book in 9.8, 140 in 9.6. Very, very hard to find these books.
Yeah.
Painted back cover by Wally Wood and Dave Stevens cover. Issue 3 came out in June of 86. There's 3 9.8s, $80 and $15 to $25 raw. Wally Wood cover and art. #4 also came out in June of 86. There's only 1 9.8. Those are $15 to $20 raw. And then #5 came out in February of 89. Interestingly enough, almost 3 years later. Very, very low print run because it came out 3 years later. The final wrap it up. It's like that. What was it? That J. Scott Campbell series that came out, like all those. It was so erratic.
All of them. Yeah. That Battle Chasers. Yeah.
Battle Chasers.
I think 13 just came out last year or like last month.
Oh my gosh. World of Wood #5, February of 89, 1 9.8. Those are $50 to $75 raw. Very, very tough to find. Yeah, you can't find it. Okay.
For sure.
Alex's pick of the week. Are we talking about San Diego, Alex, or what?
Maybe I might still have that San Diego hangover.
Okay.
I want to talk about rarity versus popularity, because I think that I have a good example of that, of like, Deadpool's popular, so a lot of his stuff is expensive. But there's also the rarity of something that might not be a popular item. So I have, for example, this Camp Fun Days Freddy Funko's Blue Beetle. Only 250 pieces made. That's rare. This goes for about $400 on eBay.
Wow.
Selling.
You got that at San Diego?
I did. I got something. Finally, I got something. But I mean, it's Freddy Funko's Blue Beetle. The Blue Beetle movie does not have any buzz, and in fact, I think they're projecting it to be like the worst DC movie opening money-wise, which stinks because it looks good. Jaime Reyes, a lot of stuff there, a lot of good stuff. James Gunn even said that Blue Beetle is going to be in all the new DC stuff. So, but they're really projecting it low. So there's not the Blue Beetle comics. There's not a lot of buzz for it. There's not a lot of they're not going for a lot of money. Like, people are not buying the stuff, but because that's a 1 of 250 piece item, it's going for a lot of money. It doesn't matter who the character is. It's just rare. It's just rare and hard to find. Doesn't matter that it's Blue Beetle. It could have been anybody. 1 of 250 is 1 of 250 in a Funko. So, it's just funny how things can be popular and expensive and just completely rare. Nobody cares about the character, but it's just rare. I love Blue Beetle. I don't know if I'll sell it. I love
that is
Jaime.
pretty interesting. How'd you get? Went to the Funko party?
Yeah, Funko party. Yep.
All right.
Gotta go, man.
Got it.
Ticket.
Okay. What do we got next, Alex? This is an interesting one.
Deadpool fights. So essentially Deadpool fighting people.
Yeah, so we had talked a while back about the Wolverine Deadpool fighting. There's 2 other covers that are just on fire. I think there's a sense, because you're going to see Jennifer Garner You might see Ben Affleck. You might see some of the old cast and crew. There's a lot of rumors hanging around that it could be like Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, because they could kill Ben Affleck. They could kill,
it doesn't
no one's
matter.
going to
Yeah,
care,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Doesn't matter. I think there's a lot of rumors. And obviously, if Wolverine's wearing the yellow and blue or yellow and black outfit, I mean, it could be a throwback kind of a film.
Yeah.
You might see a lot of these characters. So what's happened, I'll let you tell the story. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the collecting world's going crazy. Like, if there's anything even like what's in the movie that's in the comic, that's people are going to want those left and right. Like, especially a Deadpool fighting Wolverine in costume, like people are definitely going to be excited to see that. And of course, they're going to want the comic. If they see Deadpool fighting, we could see a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man again. We literally have no idea. And so they want these books. So the Deadpool fans are going to see what they've been waiting for ever since that Ryan Reynolds freaking announced that movie.
Yeah, and it feels like whoever they think he's might be fighting, they just keep going up, up, and up. So here's some interesting ones. So Wolverine 155, October of 2000, 286 9.8s. It's about $180 to $200 book, but a newsstand 9.8, which they don't break out the pop, they just noted on the book.
Yeah.
Just sold for $600.
Wow.
And that's the Deadpool Wolverine fighting. Then the other one that's gone absolutely crazy, Alex, is Cable Deadpool number 24 from March of 2006. It's the first meeting between Spider-Man and Deadpool. Now, I don't know if Tom Holland is going to make an appearance in that film. But again, it's just another book that, for whatever reason, maybe they think Deadpool is going to be in the MCU. Maybe they think at some point he's going to join Spider-Man. Nick Fury and Captain America cameo on the last page. Fabian Nicier's story pack, Zurcher cover and art. 39.8. A 9.8 just recently sold for $1,300.
Wow.
A 9.6 sold for $350, and those are $80 to $125 raw. So
that's crazy.
It's Cable Deadpool. It's got Cable, it's got Deadpool, and it's got Spider-Man. So maybe people think something's going to happen there.
That's crazy. Wacky.
All right. What are we closing with today, Alex?
David Bowie's favorite character, Starman.
Oh my God. Yeah. Aladdin Sane.
That's it.
Sane. Here we go. So this character's been around for many, 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 many years. You're starting to see some decent prices. I know this book is old, but you are seeing some decent prices on the mid and high grade. Talk a little bit about Starman, and maybe again, it's just speculation where people think eventually he's going to show up somewhere.
Yeah, this is an odd one too, because I'm assuming that maybe the Ditko art in this book really drives the sale a little bit more, because the Starman in this book is Prince Gavin, who was the space Starman, not the Starman from the Golden Age, not the Starman, not the alien Starman, not the Will Payton Starman, or the Starman that James Robinson wrote. That was probably the best version. Was that 2000 series with Wade Von Grawbridger and Tony Harris. That series is huge. Funny enough, there were so many Starmans in DC Universe. James Robinson wrote them all as a connecting Starman using the same name. But this is an adventure comics. It's Steve Ditko, and it's a first appearance of Prince Gavin, who's we've seen him in the Starman comics. And it's funny when you see something like this, because if you told me like this version of Starman in this adventure comics would be worth anything, I'd be like, well, why? Nobody cares. But they care because it's a big character, and Steve Ditko, it's huge.
It's funny. Okay, so Adventure Comics 467, January of 1980, 17 9.8. It's about a $15 to $20 raw book. If you get a high grade, 265 and 9.8. First appearance, Starman, Prince Gavin, Len Wein and Paul Levitt stories, Joe Staten and Steve Ditko art, Steve Ditko and Dave Cockrum story.
Yeah.
All right, so that does it for today. If you have any questions or comments, thank you for joining us. Please leave them in the field below. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Same bad time.
Same bad channel.